is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. We are the Kincaids, and I am so excited to make this video for you guys today. You guys know what's up. It is a Bachelor recap video, and so many things happened in this episode, you guys. I actually had to go back and watch it a second time. Bless you, Diesel. I'm so pumped to get into this. But before we do, I just want to acknowledge Logan is here with us. Right. We are very excited to not have to do a separate clip, to just have him here. And I also just want to say to anyone out there who is curious, we are aware of the things that are going on in the Bachelor universe, like news side of everything with Chris Harrison and some of the contestants on the show. And while we are aware of those things and we are sympathetic to the people in the world that it has offended and affected, we are just here to talk about the show. And that is all. I hope you guys are understanding of that and that you don't take offense to that. We definitely don't want to offend anybody. That is not what we want to do here. We just want to talk about the show. We're just here to have some fun and get into the crazy drama that's happening on the show. And let me tell you, there was a lot of crazy drama in this episode. So let's just go ahead and get right into it.
All right.
Okay, you guys, so the first thing that happens in the episode is Heather showing up, and let me tell you, the first thing that I wrote is number 1, Heather's arrival, and it goes on 4.5 pages, you guys, because this was hectic. This was chaotic and just a hot mess. Heather shows up, like I said in last week's episode, it was a very awkward arrival where she kind of interrupts Piper's one-on-one time with Matt. And so she comes in, and before we even get to see Matt and Heather's conversation, we see Piper like freak out.
Which I don't understand because she already has a rose.
Yeah, so
she's good for the week.
Right, so Piper leaves the room where Matt and Heather are, and she says in her ITM,
"I've been waiting all week to have a conversation with this guy. Then this random A girl walks in, and I'm just like the invisible B that never existed in the first place."
But like, she literally says, "I've been waiting all week to have a conversation with this guy." You had a one-on-one, Piper. Why are you so stressed about not having time with him? You already have a rose. I don't understand this mindset at all.
She's
but
very dramatic.
She is livid, you guys. Like, she goes out and she talks to the girls and she shouts,
"What the F word?"
And she's so mad, and I don't understand. Yeah, sure.
Fire truck.
So Heather and Matt are having their sit-down one-on-one time, and she tells Matt, like, "I'm here because of a conversation that I had with Hannah B. You know, she thinks that we could be a great match after, like, talking to you, and then I got to know some more things about you, and I just really like you, and I'm here to potentially, like, be your wife. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you." And Matt is, like, overwhelmed. He's like, "I definitely feel like Hannah Brown is someone that I would respect her opinion." Are you stealing my pen?
I just saw my hand.
And he also says that he respects the amount of effort that Heather has put towards even coming here, you know, like getting on the plane, renting the minivan. She had to quarantine for at least 2 weeks, if not more. And so she went through all of this just so that she could be on the show and meet Matt. And honestly, like, I see no negativity towards Heather in any way. Like, I don't understand. I really don't. I think that her reasons for wanting to show up are very genuine. Plus, not to mention, like, I know a lot of people were upset because she showed up so late. But like I said, she had to quarantine for at least 2 weeks. She had to wait to hear back from producers if she could even be on the show. So if she were to have showed up and said, "I want to be here, I want to meet Matt," at the second that she showed up in her little white minivan, this would have happened weeks ago. So anyways, Matt tells Heather all of these things, but he says that he needs to think about it because of where they're at in this time. He says
there's not a lot of time to make such an important decision,
aka the proposal. So he's really he needs to think about it. So he goes off to think about it, and then Heather goes out to talk to the girls, and this is when crap hits the fan.
Which is totally uncalled for.
Yeah.
Remember how a couple weeks ago we had the issue with all the new girls coming on and all the OGs
Right. And then there was the incident where all the OGs started apologizing to the new girls.
This was the week we get to find out who was genuine and who was not.
And basically nobody was. I took direct notes, like direct quotes, and that's why there's so many pages. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read from my notes, okay? Before Heather even says anything, like, she walks out and she says, "Hello," and then she asks how everyone's doing. And then someone says, well, I was doing good. And then another person says, what are you doing here?
It sounded like Kit. I think that's what it was.
I have no idea. But honestly, like, she hasn't even said, all she said is hello and how are you guys doing? And already someone's like, I was doing good. And then someone else says, what are you doing here? Like, she literally hasn't even like been standing in front of these girls for a minute and they're already like at her. So then Heather says, I'm here to meet Matt. And Jesenia says,
oh, you're so late.
Then Chelsea goes,
were you on another season?
And Heather says, yeah, I was on Colton's season. And then Jesenia says,
so you missed that one, so you tried this one.
Heather, of course, says no, that is not why I'm here. And while she's like talking, someone says, can you please leave? So then Heather says, I'm not here to ruin everyone's day. And Piper says,
my day's pretty ruined.
Then Serena P says,
why didn't you meet Matt before he became the Bachelor?
Which is a valid question. I feel like Serena P, that was a valid thing to say.
Yeah.
And Heather explains the whole situation with Hannah Brown and that she learned more about Matt afterwards, thinking that he could be a potential Matt. And so she showed up wanting to meet Matt and be his wife. And then Piper says,
you're just Bachelor hopping.
Jesenia says,
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And then Heather is like visibly becoming very uncomfortable. She starts tearing up. She's got her hands in front of her face. She's like becoming very closed off, basically, physically. And she says, guys, I don't want to do this. And Serena says,
then what are you doing here?
And Jesenia gestures towards the door, basically saying like, then leave. And so Heather's like, I just want to meet Matt. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to come on here and meet Matt. That's all. Jesenia says she doesn't think Heather will be ready for an engagement. And Heather responds, you guys don't even know me. How can you make an assumption like that when you don't even know who I am? And then Piper says,
do you know Matt at all?
And I wrote, no, Piper, that's why she's here. She's literally said over and over again, I just want to meet Matt. I don't understand. Then Heather says, I would love to just have gone on a date with him without all of this, but that isn't the reality of the situation. Then Piper basically interrupts her while she's saying all this and says,
I'm sorry, I don't really care, honestly, because you interrupted my time, you didn't address me, so first and foremost, I would like an actual apology.
Heather does apologize and she says, I am truly sorry. I didn't mean to like upset you or not address you.
I don't think she needed to apologize.
Well, I mean, you know, I think the fact that she's so apologetic about the circumstances of her arrival speaks to her character.
No, I'm sorry. Heather doesn't owe any of these girls anything.
But then Piper starts going off about how it's week 6 and how hometowns are just around the corner. And then Kit interrupts and says,
B, what are you doing?
So Heather starts crying for obvious reasons because she's very overwhelmed. Like I said, she was physically like uncomfortable closing herself off. So she starts crying because all these girls are attacking her. And Serena says, and I quote,
okay, just talk about it in your interview because I don't want to hear your tears right now.
And then as Heather is walking away, she's crying and she's apologizing as she's leaving the room. And someone says, go home. Like they are like high school mean girl bullies at this point. Like someone stuffed her in a locker. That's how mean these girls are being.
Yeah.
I am not here for it. Not at all.
Yeah, everybody that made a comment and stuff needs to go home.
Honestly. Yeah, honestly, I do feel that way. I mean, Serena P, her question, the one thing that she said was valid about like, why are you here now that he's the Bachelor? That was valid. But all these other comments that everyone else is making, they're just hurtful and mean. Yeah. And I don't think any of them should end up with Matt. Yeah.
I think it was it.
Yeah. I do think that there is something to be said, however, about the girls that were sitting on the couch laughing and not sticking up for Heather. So
yeah.
Ultimately, after all of this happens, this whole situation, Matt ends up sending Heather home. He doesn't give her the chance to be on the show.
Which I thought was very mature of Matt.
I understood why he did it. He says that he's falling in love with some of the women in the house. He's formed connections with them, and that he basically just regrets that they couldn't meet under different circumstances, basically. This really broke my heart because basically Heather shows up. She like flies across wherever to get to Pennsylvania, rents a minivan, has to quarantine for like 2 weeks, no communication with anybody for like 2 to 3 weeks, comes on the show, gets bullied by multiple women in the house to the point where she can't talk because she's so overwhelmed and she's crying, and then doesn't even get the chance. Like she gets sent home. Like I said, I understand and I completely support Matt in the decision not to bring her on the show. I just feel bad for Heather. I think it was a heartbreaking thing to watch for sure.
Oh yeah.
After Matt sends her home, he comes to talk to the girls and he tells them that he is impressed at how they handled the situation. And he doesn't say this once. He says this multiple times throughout this episode.
Which just shows you how oblivious he is to
yes,
what actually happens in the house.
He actually says that they handle anything that comes at them with grace. I want to know what he is thinking right now, honestly, because he had to have been so blown away at how these girls were acting, honestly. I was so like, I choked on, I don't even think I was drinking anything. I just choked because he had said this, and he honestly obviously had no idea what was going on. Anyways, we go to the rose ceremony and we say goodbye to Chelsea and Serena C. Now there's only one Serena in the house, and it is Serena P. The next scene is Abigail and Jesenia talking about how they hope to get a one-on-one this week because they're the only two girls left in the house who haven't had one-on-ones. And then as a result, the date card shows up and Serena P got the one-on-one, and I thought this was despicable. I hate when they do this. So anyways, they go on their one-on-one, Matt and Serena, and it's a tantric yoga date where it's like a very touchy-feely type of yoga. And afterwards, Serena ends up telling Matt that she wasn't super into this. She actually hated this date because she isn't really into PDA. It's not something that she is about. And Matt was very shocked by this. And then they ended up talking about this same topic the rest of the day portion of the date, and then even into the night portion of the date. And I was like, why? Why are we still talking? All she had to say was that she hated it, and he just had to be like, okay, cool. That's all I needed to know, so we never have to do this again. But instead it was the topic of conversation for the rest of this date, and it was so annoying. And then, like I said, they're on their dinner portion part of the date, and they both discuss how they can't believe how quickly they have formed a relationship like this, how strong their feelings are for one another this early on. And ultimately she gets the rose, and then they ice skate. So that's nice. The next scene we find out is Jesenia gets the next one-on-one because we get the group date card and they read off all the names on the group date card. Whoever's name is not on the group date card, that's who's getting the one-on-one. So Jesenia is the one who gets the next one-on-one, and obviously this was very upsetting to Abigail. But anyway, so we go on the group date, and both Logan and I agreed that this date was kind of strange because there's no day portion. It was literally just a cocktail party.
I don't understand it.
But anyway, so the first girl that we see get one-on-one time with Matt is Bree, and honestly, I thought that this was such a weird conversation. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were on this. Bree tells Matt that she quit her job. I just thought this was very strange. Honestly, I really did. Matt says that he appreciates her sacrifice and that it definitely means she's here for him. But I kind of felt like this was maybe Bree searching for a pity rose. I don't know. Don't come after me. If you guys disagree, please let me know in the comments below because I genuinely want to know your thoughts. Second up, we see Piper have one-on-one time with Matt, and we don't really see much of this. We just hear her say that she's definitely falling in love with him, and then they kiss, and then we skip to the next girl, which was Michelle. Also very quick one-on-one time. They both kind of reaffirm their quick connection, and then they kiss. Then we get the most heartbreaking scene of all, you guys. Abigail's one-on-one time with him during the group date. So obviously Abigail is struggling because she didn't get the one-on-one. And she kind of tells Matt, I do feel very strongly about you, and I do see this picture of my life with you, so I just kind of want to know where your head is at. And Matt's response honestly made me so upset and a little bit are you freaking kidding me? Matt essentially says that from night one, he was very drawn to her, had a very strong connection with her, and was very confident in their relationship, which is why she got the first impression rose in the first place. But because he was so comfortable and confident in their relationship, he decided to pursue other relationships with the other women in the house. And he doesn't say this, but he basically kind of forgets about Abigail. And so Abigail gets sent home. And as if that wasn't hard enough to watch, as if that wasn't heartbreaking enough, in her interview in the car as she's leaving, she says, and I quote, "I feel like I'm constantly the person that makes men realize what they want next, but they never want that with me." This shot daggers through my heart and made me want to cry. Abigail, you are an amazing woman. You are so kind and so sweet. You deserve someone who's going to love you fiercely and unconditionally, and don't ever give up on that.
Give me a call.
Get out of here. Leave. Then we kind of see Matt go back to the group of the girls, and he's like, that was really hard. I wasn't expecting our conversation to go that way, but I don't want to lead anyone on. Then he pulls Rachel aside. Ow. Can you stop? He pulls Rachel aside for some one-on-one time, and he basically tells her like it was very hard to send Abigail home. Then they both kind of talk about Rachel's family, and then they kind of reaffirm their feelings for one another, and then they kiss. And then we get Kit's one-on-one time. And Kit basically tells Matt that she has been stressed because she's been wanting to talk to him about the fact that she isn't willing to compromise her career path. So what that basically means is that kids and getting married would be put off because she wants to finish school and all these other things, which honestly I say that's very awesome. So Matt tells her like, I'm not looking to fulfill like a strict 5-year plan. I just want to be with someone who loves me, like we love each other and we're just living life together. So basically just kind of reaffirms like, it's not a problem. Don't you worry about your career path. So everyone's had their one-on-one time, and then Matt comes out and he gives Rachel the group date rose. So they go on a little like mini one-on-one date where they have like a live concert or whatever and they dance, and they're having this magical, wonderful time. And Rachel even says at one point,
get on one knee right now, it's a done deal.
As we're getting like clips of this beautiful romantic date, we get like cuts back to the girls left on the group date and they're all crying and they're so upset and distraught. But anyways, so we skip to the next portion, and what happens here is Kit sneaks over to Matt's like apartment or his room or whatever.
Yeah.
And she basically self-exits, you guys. I was very shocked by this after the conversation that they had on their group date. Kit tells him that he deserves to be with someone who's 100% sure that they are going to get married at the end of this. That like she's going to accept his proposal at the end of this. So she says that that's not her. She's not 100% certain that she could accept a proposal. The next scene is Jesenia's one-on-one date. They get like a fast driving car wreck into things date, and they kiss on the hood of the car at the end of the date. After this whole day portion of the date, they go to their dinner portion. We're just gonna like skip past all of this. I don't even really remember what they were talking about, but Jesenia does not get the rose and she ends up getting sent home.
Unfortunate.
Next scene is the rose ceremony, which honestly, I'm so glad that we finally ended an episode with a rose ceremony. There are only 2 roses to be handed out, so one girl is going to get sent home, and that unfortunate soul is Piper. Piper gets sent home.
Unfortunate. I just didn't want her on there because she was part of the bullying when Heather was on and everything. At that point, you don't deserve love.
Yeah. Wait. What?
You agreed with me, see?
No.
We're good.
No, I wasn't listening.
Oh, wow. This is my life, guys. My wife doesn't listen to me. Oh.
Kiss me. The whole exit for Piper, it was very different from what I would expect. She was just mad, honestly. She basically showed no emotion the whole time Matt was walking her to the car. Then she gets in the car without even like acknowledging him. She basically is just mad, saying that this was a complete waste of her time.
Yeah.
The episode ends and we get the credits, and then we find out that Michelle could have been our comedic relief this entire time, because apparently she is hilarious. Yeah. And after the rose ceremony,
but the camera crew doesn't want to show us that.
No, so after the rose ceremony, we get this really funny shot of Michelle saying that she wants to give a toast, but she wants to look good for the cameras first, so she just starts doing push-ups. So that's everything, you guys. That's all of our thoughts, and like I said, we love making these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe on both YouTube and Facebook if you have not done so already, and make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. Give it a like because it really supports our channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't you forget to tick the notification bell down below so that you get notified every single time we post a new video. Babe, what else should they do?
Bring back Heather. And go tell all our friends, guys.
Go tell all your friends about our channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to tune in next time. Bye.
See you guys.